Well, Jeff, you brought a pile of hooks with you. I know I've only been using one or two of these, and I know there's got to be a difference in these hooks, and they look very different to me. Tell me about why I have 6 different hooks in front of me, and when I would choose one over the other.
Sure. Well, your basic hook that a lot of guys are sharking with is just a standard tinned O'Shaughnessy. This is your price point, kind of the poor man's hook. I mean, you don't have to worry about cutting them off, losing a bunch of them. You got one on a rig right there. They've been catching fish forever, and it's not a lot of money. So you don't feel bad if you got a fish close. You're going to let a blue shark go. You don't want to try and dig that hook out, cut it off, let him swim off, and he's not swimming away with $5 or $6.
Well, I guess I might be a bit of a dinosaur on the hooks. That's a hook I've used for just about everything, including sharking, for the longest time. What else do we have here?
Also, and that's a tinned hook, and then you can also go into, this hook here is a stainless hook. Mm-hmm. The advantage to the stainless, obviously, you can do your shark rigs up, and as long as you don't get a kink in the wire, even if you do, you can cut it, retie.
Right.
This hook is not going to rust. I mean, over a long period of time. Also, out of the pack, the stainless hooks are just razor sharp. You don't even need to touch them with a file.
Okay.
You go into, these are 2 of our newer finishes. These are both stainless hooks, but they're titanium coated. And the whole point behind the titanium is it gives you a harder finish on the hook, so your point is more durable. If you get a fish that comes and it gets the jawbone of the fish, instead of that stainless, which is softer, possibly curling on you and then deflecting out of the mouth, it's going to stay strong and go in. Also, again, corrosion resistance. You add exponentially the corrosion resistance. We've got a couple finishes. There's a rainbow and a blue. And then I know one of Bill's favorite hooks, this particular hook here is, again, this tinned, but it also has brazing on the ring, which is important for your wire. You don't have a problem with it sliding in here and kinking. And it also has a wicked offset to it. The point kicks way out to the side. The advantage to that is it's much more likely to catch something as it's coming out of the mouth of the fish.
And a lot of times we used to take the standard 10-0 hooks and put a little offset in them ourselves because we just felt a little more confident.
Yep. And then the other hook that you see a lot of press on now are the circle hooks. And a lot of tournaments now are requiring specifically that you use a circle hook.
Right.
The advantage to this is if the circle hook is built and designed properly, is the fish could literally swallow this bait. This hook can go all the way down to his stomach. When you start to reel tight on that fish, it'll come all the way out, get to the corner of the jaw, and it will bury in.
Right.
And then the other nice thing, too, is we've gotten away with catching makos up to almost 400 pounds with fluorocarbon.
Wow.
No wire at all.
Because you're getting it
because it's staying outside.
Probably not a bad hook to tuna fish when you got a couple of sharks around. That might be an interesting choice.
Yep.
You got a chance to maybe get that shark in. However, the thing that always scares me about those hooks is that if you have a really, really big bait, and that small hook, and you can only pull it tight, you always run the risk that you might hang. That bait acts like a big D-hooker, and the circle hook could come out.
Yep.
So that has its uses, and you got to be really careful based on what bait you use to choose it.
Just got to make sure you rig it right, that's all.
Well, let's go pull a couple of rigs out, and we'll lay out through those next.
Okay, sounds good.
This rig that we have put together, this is one of my favorites, and I've kind of been tweaking this for a couple of years to get it right. I started off with about a 10-foot length of Yozuri disappearing pink fluoro. I've got it double crimped on either end, and actually double the loops over as well to give me a little strength. And I'm going to clip this right onto my main line. On the other end of it, I have a 200-pound rolling swivel that you guys make, and then from that point I go down into the wire. And we've also got
Sure Strike capsule.
The Sure Strike capsule here. So tell me about what we got on the second half.
Sure. So basically what we've got here is we sell this Sure Strike capsule to use with the Activate. And what I do is then I rig it on a piece of wire, because what happens is a lot of times we get the sharks that'll actually come up and chew on this. What we do is we open this up, you take your saltwater bait enhancer Activate, put it in here and fill it up right up to the point of where the holes are, and then you can actually adjust with the teeth on here the rate at which you want this to disperse. So the advantage is if we're putting this bait out and doing a full day's drift, we're going to have scent in the water exactly where our baits are.
So even if your bait gets washed out, and the only mistake I made here is I was a little lazy and I clipped it on where the wire meets the swivel, and if a fish were to come along and grab this, he'd be grabbing my leader as well. It would make more sense for me to add a rubber band probably a foot or two down the wire,
we've learned,
and then clip onto that rubber band instead, because I know you showed me one of these had a mako tooth sitting in it.
Yep,
that would have been a broken rig that we would have never seen.
Exactly.
And now down into the wire and the hook.
Yep, now we go down, this is number 14 wire, length. Typically, the length you want for your wire is about how long you figure your shark's going to be, because that's going to be a problem. As the fish is going away from you, he could end up chafing your leader. So if you got wire, you're good there. Then we're going down to on the front here, and we're doing this on some prototype rigs we're building now. This is an E-chip. What this does is, this particular product, as it moves in the water, there's a ball bearing that rocks back and forth, and this emits the exact same voltage as a live herring. And the sharks, their head are covered with these things called ampullae of Lorenzini, which are the electroreceptors that tell something it's food, and so they can find their food. So this is going to get him fired up as he gets to that direction. And then we go down to a 10-aught. This is just a tinned 3407 J-hook. And then from there we're going to put a bait on, maybe put a hoochie or a squid on there.
And we'll talk about baits when we go a little further.
Sure.
But if you look at this rig from top to bottom, one of the reasons why we have it split up into these two parts is that I don't like to have a lot of wire because, you know, most of the wiring I'm going to actually do on this 400-pound mono, which is going to be a lot easier on my hands. That lets me have a shorter wire leader here, which is all I'm trying to do is defend my mono at that point from the shark skin. And this mono can take a lot of abuse. And I'm sorry, it's not mono, it's disappearing pink fluorocarb, which is a little bit different. All right, and that's the single hook rig. And then to go double hook, all we do basically is we just add a stinger hook onto it.
Yeah.
We add one more hook, a short length of wire, and we rig up a live bluefish, which we'll get into in a little bit. We'll show you how we use that hook, and that one will be all set. And that's it. Let's go start cutting some bait snacks.
Sounds good.